Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 98 of Standing Out. I'm Trey Griggs, Beta Consulting Group, and so excited to have you here with us today for another episode. It's going to be a big week of shows. We've got a great lineup. It's actually female dominant, women led in the industry. It's going to be awesome. Today, my friend Robyn Hyra is going to be on the show. Can't wait to have her on. Tomorrow, Liz Wayne, founder and president of Able Transport Solutions, is going to be on. And then on Wednesday, we've got our 100th episode of Standing Out, and my good friend Charlie Safro is going to guest host that for us so that we can have a great conversation about that. Also on Thursday, my good friend Randy Fox, the only other male for the week. He is an incredible keynote speaker and influencer, former NCAA officiant, referee. And then on Friday, my good friend Nadine Nocero-Tai is going to be on the show. So we had a lot of great things coming up this week. Make sure you definitely reach out for that 100th episode on Wednesday with Charlie Safro guest hosting that. We're going to have a lot of fun on that show. And it's hard to believe it's been 100 shows. It's amazing. And thank you so much for the support, for being a part of what we're doing here. We appreciate that greatly. Also, when you get a chance, check us out over at betaconsultinggroup.com. We are all about helping companies tell their story. And whether that's messaging, content creation, social media strategy, podcasting, you name it, blogging, whatever it is, we're going to help tell that story and help with that brand, build that brand. That's what we're all about here at Beta Consulting Group. So check out our website, fill out a form. We'd love to work with you. And while you're there, don't forget to click on the swag store. There's some items there right on the main page and the banner as well. Click on that. Check out all the cool stuff we have. We're all about creating a community of people that are pursuing excellence. And every time you drink coffee out of that Standing Out mug, we want you to remember to be excellent today. That's the whole point. So check that out. Make sure you use coupon code BETA-GO to get 30% off during our grand opening here in July. We'd love for you to be a part of what we're doing here at Standing Out and Beta Consulting Group. We'd also like to give a shout out to our sponsor, to TAFS. These are the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping drivers and small fleets have the resources they need to keep those wheels turning. So whether that is, factoring services, small business loans, discounts on fuel, tires, all those things, they're helping out. So make sure you click on the link that Morgan's going to put in the comments today. That takes you right to my landing page so that you can get started with them immediately. And if you're a freight broker, you can become a referral partner with them. And that would be awesome to have you guys join us in what they're doing over there at TAF. So appreciate those guys for them supporting the show and what we're doing here, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and get the show started today. Can't wait to introduce my guest today. This is number 2 for her, round 2, because she's so cool. She's the director of technology at R2 Logistics. Everybody give it up for my good friend, Robyn Hyra. Robyn, what's up? How are you?
Hello. Great. Thank you. How are you?
Good to see you. How's everything going into R2?
Everything's heating up over here. 108 today.
Ooh,
Yes. So in retrospect, we should have done the 108th episode.
But 98 is not bad. We talked about this a little bit before the show. 90 is not bad. You got 98 degrees. That's no, not the boy band.
Boy bands. No boy bands. No.
No boy bands. Do you have a boy band of choice? No?
None.
None. All right. Okay.
No boy, maybe the Beatles. I mean, there are boy bands out there, I guess.
That is a good boy band. That's true. Yeah, that's true. How about the Wonders from the movie That Thing You Do? Did you like them? Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I never
Tom
saw
Hanks
that.
Classic. You should definitely watch it.
Okay.
That Thing
All right.
You Do. The
All
Wonders.
right.
That's the band that's kind of Beatles-ish from Erie, PA. But 98 is kind of a cool number. It's close to 100. What else is going on with 98?
So let's see. I did a little bit of research. So the number 98, it signifies creating something of lasting value and beneficial to humanity.
Really?
Very philosophical here. The number 9 symbolizes intuition, inner wisdom, philanthropy, generosity, endings and conclusions. And the number 8 signifies intuition, prosperity, talent, success, and karma. So it typically means something that is ending and then a new thing is beginning. Change.
Interesting.
Technology.
Well, I do like change. Interesting. 98. That's big. So when people see 98, they're going to think about that. Or you take 8 and you flip it sideways and it's infinity. That's cool. I like that.
That's very cool.
Big fan of infinity. 98. Let's see. That's Marco Andretti's race car number.
Yep.
All right.
The search engine Google began in 98.
Yes, and got rid of the need for Yahoo. So no offense to Yahoo lovers out there.
Can you Yahoo that for me? Can you Bing that for me?
It doesn't work. Right. Those aren't verbs. No. Those are nouns, not verbs. Yeah, only Google is a verb. Okay. 98. So I turned 20 in 98, just to date myself.
I did not.
Okay. All right.
I think it was maybe 4.
Whatever. Do the math,
No.
whatever. You sell it.
I graduated high school on the inverse in 89.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
98. Let's see. President Clinton got impeached in 98.
He did. The iMac came out in 98.
Windows 98 came out, an upgrade from Windows 95.
Yes. Yeah. What
Maybe
else
not upgrade.
happened?
95 was legit. Yeah, Windows 95 was awesome. 98 might have been a downgrade. I don't know.
But not a whole lot of groundbreaking things in 98. So hopefully
98 was when they started thinking about Y2K, because I was in college and they started the run up to Y2K, thinking that everything was going to end.
I was on Y2K committees.
Were you? Oh, that must have been a joy. That must have been a blast. Oh my goodness.
And then it was 11:59. We all braced for something to happen, and then boop, nothing.
Nothing happened. That's right. Literally nothing. I don't think anything went down, even though they thought the whole world infrastructure, electric grids and everything was just going to end, but nothing happened. So no, 98 is a legit number. All right. Well, that's good. We'll have to keep that in mind. 98 is something good to the world, an ending and a beginning, the significance of change. All right. All good.
We'll start with this episode.
We better move away from the philosophical and get to the practical just a little bit. Last time you were on this show, we talked about your journey into becoming director of technology, and we talked about training and onboarding and some other things like that, which was really great. For those who are watching, make sure you go back and check out that episode with Robyn Hyra. I'm not sure which number it was. I'll have to look it up. But
I remember it was. I made a really good reference for the number, but I don't remember what it was.
Might in the 40s. I feel like 40s maybe, but I'm not sure. But anyways, make sure you go back and check that one out. But what I wanted to talk about with you this time is when we first met, you were the VP of sales, I believe, VP of sales, something like that, at Aljex, which is a TMS that's kind of faded here in the public eye, at least in our industry. But you were the VP of sales there. It was like going and blowing at that time. I mean, rocking and rolling. You guys were a part of kind of the big 3 or big 4, as people would say, with Mercury Gate, McLeod, and TMW, kind of putting them as the reigning TMSs in the industry in that regard. And you were leading the sales organization, which was awesome at the time. And I learned a ton from you at that time, just kind of getting to know you in that regard. I want to talk a little bit about what you learned during that time, especially when it comes to like networking, the value of having a network and some other things as well. And so I just want to dig in a little bit. How did you get into that role? How did that come about?
Interesting. So I posted my resume on Monster.
Really? Just through job posts?
That's how I landed my job at Aljex. My background was all sales and marketing, and nothing in technology whatsoever. And then just was a really good fit. I started off just in sales and worked my way up. I was there for 10 years. And when I left, I was executive vice president of sales and marketing.
EVP, my bad.
We might have met when I was a mere salesperson. But, your woman power week, you work your way up, right? But it was a very small organization when I started. Aljex was privately owned. It wasn't owned by Descartes. There were only about 10 employees, and I started out in sales and just worked hard, just put your nose to the grindstone. I knew nothing about transportation whatsoever, really knew nothing about technology, and I learned from speaking with people. So to your point, networking, I just started asking a lot of questions and learned, and that inquisitive nature, just ask and ask. And if you have a natural curiosity about something, then you're open to learn about it. People want to speak about what they know, and that just creates deep relationships. I've been friendly with you and a couple of dozen people that I've stayed friends with in the industry from those beginnings with Aljex. So
yeah, I just talked about that last week with a guest, that curiosity is truly the key to all learning. And when you are curious, you're going to ask the right questions, you're going to talk to the right people and figure things out. That's cool. Exactly.
People see through the veil of, trying to be somebody that you're not. If you're a used car salesperson is typically the most common example. If you're not really interested, you're just looking to sell something, people really aren't interested. I do really have that natural curiosity and wanted to learn about the industry and understand what's wrong with it and how could we fix it and make it better.
Yeah. Episode 54, by the way, I was close. There was a 4 in the number.
Studio 54. That's what it came
Studio
out
54.
at.
That's right.
Very
Episode 54.
good.
So we got some good numbers. 54.
Yeah, there you go.
5 and 4 make a 9. We got a lot of symmetry going in that regard. Yeah. So when you first started, so that's amazing. So no experience in technology, no experience in transportation. How long did it take you to feel like you kind of had a hang of what's going on in this industry?
Well, I think I'm still learning from a different perspective too. But I probably took a good couple of years to really understand a lot of the terminology and how it applies. Once I started attending the TIA conferences and beginning those long-term relationships with people, it was opening up a lot more. And then once I started going to on-site visits with brokerages and actually seeing how things work. And what you were mentioning about Aljax, when I worked on the technology side, selling the technology, I could only sell what people explained to me would work for them or how it would work in their scenario. But now being here at a brokerage and seeing how you actually deploy these things, the boots on the ground, like I say, things don't work. They don't work the way that the developers originally intended them to work. Right. So it's the reality kicks in and everybody has to do workarounds. And that's really what's impressive about the brokerage industry and R2 especially. I find that people just figure out how to make things happen. Even though you're supposed to do things 1 through 10, you might have to do 1, pop over to 8, go back to number 2. You just have to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you talk about, the technology doesn't work the way that designers intended, to work. And that happens a lot. You learned how to sell it by just talking to customers who are using it, which I think is fascinating. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not selling, it's consultative approach, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you're selling something, nobody wants to talk to you. You have to figure out where the need is. And that is really what sales is all about. So finding out what the need is through conversation.
I think that's fascinating because I don't think that businesses in general, but technology companies as well, I don't think they take advantage of the opportunity to talk to their customers when they're actually using the product. In fact, I think some technology companies are afraid to talk to their customers because they might, find out that it's not working or whatever. They might find out some bad news as opposed to just taking the time to learn. Because I think from a sales perspective, but also from a marketing perspective, some of your best content when you're selling, when you're pitching, and some of your best content when you're marketing should come from your customers. Why did they choose to work with you? Why do they continue to choose to work with you? And then from the sales side, how are they using it? What are the features that they say are important? Because you guys can have all the best features, the best results possible. But when you hear from your customers of what's important to them and what's working for them and how they're using it and how it's saving them time or making life more efficient, to me, that's gold from a sales perspective.
You're completely correct. The main issue is money. If you speak to the customers and find out, what's not working for you, what could we do? How could we implement it? The customer says, you should be doing all these things for free. I'm giving you all of this information. The software company needs people to actually program it and make it work, and that costs money. So the customer doesn't want to pay for it. The software company wants to charge you for it, and then nobody's happy, right? But you also end up with customized solutions. And a customized solution is something created specifically for the way your company works. Now it's not an out-of-the-box solution, and it costs a lot more money. There's a lot of pros and cons to custom systems. When you're looking at Aljax, it's more of an out-of-the-box solution, one size fits all. And then you have a lot of different permissions that allow you to control how different things work. And then solutions more like Revenova or McLeod are more customizable. They may or may not be more expensive of a solution, but when you start looking at a software platform like McLeod or Mastermind, right, you're going to pay a lot more money, but it is going to be more customized to what your company's needs are.
Yeah, and some of the newer platforms that are coming out that are more web-based in nature are even taking that customization to the next level where you can just turn switches on and off on your own.
Mhm.
And create integrations where you just put your user credentials in, your API keys, and they work. And I think it's
Yes.
fascinating when you go in that direction, which we could probably talk about that probably all day. But I want to get back to a minute to the sales side of things. So building a network in sales, I mean, I think that's so critical. And, tools like LinkedIn make that incredibly valuable to be able to, to build a network and do that. But it's one thing to build a network. It's another thing to actually have a great reputation and be likable in that network, which I think is also really critical in sales. How did you view the idea of likability and connecting with people in the standpoint of being successful in sales?
Ooh. Geez. I think some people just have a likability factor, I guess. Yeah. Related but not, Trey. I was at the market yesterday and I just smiled at someone and asked them how their day was. And he was just stocking those scoop bins of things. And he said, "You're the first person that smiled at me all day." And it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
People just don't smile anymore. So,
or really even talk. Small talk.
That's true. They're all like down at their phones, right? The technology, right? I think eye contact, asking how somebody's day is, stopping, just being pleasant. That's all you have to really do to be likable. Most of the time, people just aren't interested in making that connection if it's not going to benefit them. But you just never know. Also, yesterday, ran out on an errand after that supermarket visit. My husband was with me. We were leaving a parking lot. And he saw a car with a flat tire. And he's like, "Oh my God, that car tire is flat." And then we saw a gentleman walking to the car and he said, he rolled down the window, "Excuse me, sir, your tire's flat." And it was a little bit of an older gentleman. He's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And we started driving away. And my husband said, "You know what? Turn around. I need to help that guy." My husband's a little bit older than me, certainly not 23, and we turned around and he helped the guy change the flat tire. I went in, got the gentleman, both of them a water bottle, and you know what? You walk away. It took 7 minutes to change the tire. I was pretty impressed.
That's
the guy was there. I know. I know they were NASCAR testing. Back to your Andretti reference, but it's a genuine. It's being genuine, wanting to help people. And I think that just naturally comes out. And today, when people aren't meeting in person, they're doing everything over the phone. And my Algic sales were all over the phone, by the way, because we didn't really make on-site visits. But you can still connect over the phone. A lot of people today just want to email. They don't want to pick up the phone and speak with people. They don't have that interactive skill. And when you don't have that, I think you lose that likability factor.
Yeah. And I think you said the key. I was going to say, here's my key to likability, but you said it. And that is genuinely caring about the other person. Like if you genuinely care about the other person, you're going to do the things that let them know you care. I was at the DMV this morning, which is a great place to be on a Monday morning. I was at the DMV this morning and there were only 2 people working in there. And the lady, she definitely did a great job of setting expectations. As we're coming in the door, she's like, "There's only 2 of us today. Please be patient with us. There's only 2. Please be patient." So I thought that was actually genius on her part. But, that's got to be a terrible job. That's got to be a difficult job, to do that. Unless you just really well, it'd be bad for me. I don't know. I would not enjoy the paperwork side of it for sure. But, when I walked up there, I just felt the need to say, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And just hear how she's doing. And she was kind of the opposite. She's like, "How are you doing?" We had a nice little conversation and, we got it all done. It was as pleasant as the DMV can be. But I think the key is you really need to care about the other person, not just about scoring points to get a sale, or not just about, making an impact to get a sale, but actually caring about the other person. And it's hard to not be liked if you genuinely care about people. I think it goes to the How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Dale Carnegie book. Like it's a part of like winning them over is genuinely caring about them. People want to be around people that they believe care about them, just a natural human instinct. So I think that's really powerful.
Absolutely. And about the DMV person, she chose that as well.
She did. I think she might have owned it, which, if you're going to own something, I guess that, if you're going to be at the DMV, you might as well own it. Probably the better way to go about it, I would imagine, than just working there. But shout out to all our DMV workers for getting us through to get all of that. I do like the fact they now do it online. You can renew a lot of your plates and do that. It makes sense that you should. Yeah, you can in Missouri. You can do that if you have your inspection and your property taxes paid. It's all in the system. and they've got them integrated now. And so now you can just, renew plates online, and they send the tags in the mail. So we just went dark. That may be the first time we've had the lights go out on the show. I don't know if that's symbolic or not.
Power grid failure.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's hilarious. So talk about this. So you don't do sales anymore, at least not like commercial sales.
Right.
But I'm sure you still use a lot of those sales skills when you are implementing technology, when you're training people and doing those kind of things. Where's been the crossover for you from your sales career to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I do still teach sales a little bit when my role is kind of split. It's technology as well as training. So I do talk to people about that, selling to carriers and selling to the shippers, even when we're making appointments. Sales skills are always needed in everything that you do. Be pleasant when you answer the phone, ask nice questions. And then I speak with vendors a lot as well. And that's where I put in my negotiation skills. And so negotiation is definitely one of my favorite things to do. But I think just the general outlook of sales and always trying to sell our two services, no matter who I speak with. I do speak to customers sometimes for technology discussions. So I can dabble it through, but I think it's just that salesperson outlook all the time that I always have.
Yeah, I'll tell you where sales really comes in big time is parenting. There's a lot of sales. You got to sell ideas, especially as they get older. You got to sell some ideas of wanting to hang out with mom and dad, or whatever it might be. Wanting to try something new or something like that. Some negotiation does go on with teenagers when they've got their friends and their camps they want to go to, and you want to do other things as a family. But the skills to be able to communicate with somebody, to be able to negotiate what's in the best interest of everybody here, to persuade. Persuade's kind of a nasty word sometimes. People look at it as a manipulative word. But to have an argument and say, hey, let me tell you why you should really consider this, whatever that might be, I think is really valuable. And that's good when you're training for technology too, because when new technology is implemented, people have to oftentimes change their processes. So you have to almost persuade them, no, this is in your best interest. Let me show you why. Let me communicate that.
I like that. You're correct. Persuasion is definitely the key to success, and it's not manipulation. It's helping people. It can be. It
depends on what your motives are.
it brings to light all the reasons that you should go with the solution that we're putting in front of you. But I guess I really shouldn't say that, because raising the question, having a discussion to find out where the problems are, what we're trying to achieve, how it's going to make things better. And as much as I might want to change a process or change a software or add a software, we really have to understand, is it going to move the needle? And I feel like that's such a kitschy phrase, what's going to move the needle? But it really is true. What are we really looking for? Are we just looking to buy something new and shiny, or how is it really going to help everybody on a day-to-day? And if it is going to help people day-to-day, then yeah, I'd like to implement that. And a lot of people would like to, but we have to make sure that it's going to actually move the needle and that it's worth it to make that transition.
Yeah, sometimes you get some objections from users, and it's kind of like prospects. Get some objections from them wanting to do that, and you have to put your sales hat on, your negotiation skills, and get them across the finish line to get some of that done. So
always selling something.
Everyone's selling, right? I mean, I think about that. That's true, and it doesn't matter what seat you're in a position. I think you're always selling something. Like if somebody says you're not in sales, well, you just don't realize you're in sales, but you're definitely in sales, which I think is really critical. It's true now. Like I think companies are in the process of selling their culture, selling their place of work, because prospective employees have so many opportunities, so many different options now, that companies now are starting to sell not just their products and solutions to prospects, but learning how to really sell their culture and their identity to prospective employees. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. You might be in the finance department, but if they're trying to look for a new AP talent to come in, the people in there that they talk to are selling that position and selling that culture. So
for sure.
Everyone's in sales, no matter what. Everyone's in sales.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
I mean the culture here at R2 is definitely very like young and vibrant, right? So we're definitely selling the culture. I speak with the recruiters, and we sell all these different things that we offer. You know, you have to have snacks, you have to have drinks nonstop. We do, bring in lunches, things like that. So yeah, you're always selling something.
yeah, and I think it goes, those are cool things to have, of course. I think it's just a way to say appreciation. Hey, here's some snacks, here's some drinks, here's whatever. But man, I think it goes so far beyond that. I think that companies have to sell their leadership, because I'm convinced that leadership is actually what's most important when you're looking for a job, not the actual job you're going to take on, but who are you going to work with? Who are the leaders in that company? And when you're able to market that culture, I think that's where you really get people to say, yeah, I want to be a part of what's happening at R2, or I want to be a part of what's happening at Beta Consulting Group, whatever it is. I think you have to sell the leadership of it and communicate, how do you guys run your business? How do you think about, employer interactions? How do you provide resources and tools and training? How do you foster creativity and things like that? I think those are the things that attract people and want them to be a part of your organization. So to me, selling the leadership and selling the culture are synonymous right now.
Yeah, investing in the employees is really where it's at, and showing them that you have those things like the training and what is their path to success for the future. Our CEO Ben, he started the company. Geez, he was like in his later 20s, and he's in his early 40s now. And I mean, that if that's not enough of an example to show a young person of what they could be one day, I don't know what is. So I show the executive leadership when we're doing the onboarding training. Most of them are mid 40s and under. So they're really left speechless, like me, like, wow, that guy's only 15 years older than me. I could be that one day. So it's selling that to the new people.
Yeah, just letting, and I think that also at the same time, letting people that come on board know that we want to help you get to wherever you want to go in your career. You're not just here just to fill this role, even though it's important that you fill this role right now. But where do you really want to go, and how can we help you get there? And I love companies and leaders that do that, that think that way, that think, what, this might not be the last stop for you. In fact, this day and age is probably not going to be the last stop for you. So how can we, foster this time to where it's really healthy for you, that it's a good place to be, that you learn great skills, and that when it's time for you to move on to the next thing, we're helpful in that. And I just think that breakups are so bad in business sometimes. There's just not a good culture of communication, and people, when people want to leave, it's usually just because things are bad. I love it when people leave because they've got a dream and a vision and they want to go do it, and a company supports that. I was talking to Jim Becker about that. He brought in somebody to do marketing, and that person really wanted to start their own marketing agency. And he said, great, do it, and I'll be your first customer. Like, I love that. When you see a leader that really values somebody to that level, I think that's really cool. That's pretty rare.
The American dream, Trey. Look at you.
Yeah, it's the American dream. Exactly, right? To run your own shop and learn how to do accounting and things you don't like.
Delegation, sir.
That's the way it goes. It's all a great journey. It's a lot of fun process. All right, so Robyn, real quick, 30-second answer. Where do you think technology is going in transportation? What's the next big thing we need to keep our eyes on? You got any answers on that?
I know it needs to go someplace different. I see a lot of companies doing the same thing over and over and over. And I really I haven't seen anybody reinvent the wheel. I kind of have an idea of what that might look like, but I'm just not seeing it. It's not just figuring out how to price something or carrier AI matching. It's got to be something different. And it can't all be bots and automation, because all of the humans are going to be out of a job.
There'll be different jobs. I think so. Yeah, automation definitely has to play a role in it. But the hard part is that there's so many different players involved. There's so many different players. How do you get everybody on the same page with technology? Like, that's really, really difficult. I don't know what the answer is either, but it seems like systems are starting to talk to each other better. And I think that's really helpful. But man, it's like, yeah, there's it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 5 to 10 years. If there's a couple of systems that really win out, that are fully integrated, or if it's going to continue to be fragmented in terms of technology, and integrations have to play the big role. I do think automation is going to play a much bigger role. I think it already has, like in pricing and matching and things like that. But at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, you want to talk to a person. Like even if I'm buying stuff off Amazon,
Sure.
if the order goes wrong, I can probably get it, taken care of through their tools. But if I can't, I need to talk to a person to get it resolved.
Yep, it's automating the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And focusing on exceptions.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, humans are going to do exception management and relationship building and sales and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be really fascinating to see kind of where it heads. All right, so we're up 30 minutes again. Flies by as always. Robyn, thanks so much for being an awesome guest on episode 98, which is a significant number, everybody. So look it up. It's a significant number about change and something new. Look forward to having you back on again sometime really soon and getting down to Dallas to see you down there. Hey, we are having a Tough Mudder. We got a Tough Mudder coming down there October 29th. It's in Granbury, Texas. And we're putting together a team. We're going to do a 9 mile and a 3 mile. So two different groups. Group doing a 9 mile and a group doing a 3 mile. So we'll have to get you guys on our team. Or come watch, support us. We could use encouragement. Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody, make sure you come back tomorrow for episode 99, the last 2-digit episode here on Standing Out. We're going to have Liz Wayne on the show. She's the founder and president over at Able Transport Solutions up near Omaha, Nebraska. It's going to be a great show. And of course, this entire week, make sure you come back on Wednesday for episode 100. It's going to be a phenomenal show with guest Charlie Safra. Looking forward to that. So going to be a great time having them on. So we will look forward to seeing everybody soon. Robyn, thanks so much for being on the show, and we'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great week out there. Get after it.